it definitely wins the coolest bag award. It's by Minutemen Coffee Company. This one is specifically Trader Joe. It has a nice FJB on the side here. And you can see it's obviously got your favorite Joe Biden with the communist flag, Chinese Arabic flag, you know, all the things he's botched, the cages at the border. They definitely win the bag award. I definitely think it's just a black coffee. If you're just looking for a good black coffee, this is a really good just black coffee that, you know, it's not gonna be as flavorful as the Dirty Duck, but it's got a great bag. You get a lot for it. It's really affordable. 16 ounces in this thing. It's a good full bag of it. And they've got some other really cool ones as well that I've got that we'll check out. But I would definitely try this Minutemen coffee. Trader Joe especially is a great one. All right, so today got something new I'm checking out. I've got a lot of Ultraview sights, scopes, I guess, if you will. I really like their scopes. I keep calling them sights, but it's just the scope, not the sight. I probably have 3 of them. I've always just had the regular, like UV3. I've never had the XL. This is a UV3 with a sunshade and the sight ring on it as well. Really like them. I love the fact that I can change cartridges out if I want a single pin, a smaller single pin. Maybe I just want a drilled lens. I love the ability to all that stuff. I also love that you don't have this giant thing sticking up here for a sight, or you don't have to have something like mounted on the side of the bar, running over wires to your sight. It's just built in. You just push the button and it comes on. I love that. I think that is a great way to do it. And I love it goes off on its own, because I can't tell you how many batteries the batteries have just died on them because I turn the knob, turn them on, I forget about them, you know, hunting especially, and they go dead. The next time you're out there and you're trying to use your light instead. So the fact that these will go off on its own, and you can customize like how bright do I want them when they come on, I really love that. There's some things about them I'm not crazy about, but for the most part, I love everything about them. So today, what I'm looking at is more for my hunting, is the UV3 XL SE slider edition with the 4 pins, I guess if you want to call it that floater pin. Let's check it out. All right, so first and foremost, they always have really cool boxes. I think they do a great job of packaging their stuff. So you open this up, you can scan these QR codes and get all the instructions on them. The main thing though we want is this. So the XL, obviously bigger than the UV3X. You can kind of see them side by side there. And this one has a sight ring, a scope ring on it here to help you aim. I don't think I'll need one on this. I think they make them for these XLs, but I don't think I'll need them because of how big it is. But it does help to have this when you're trying to line your peep up on a UV3. So same concept, all the cool features you like. You can change cartridges, you pop these screws out on the sides, and you can just swap cartridges. I've got the 3-pin. I could put a single pin. I could put whatever in there. There's a ton of great videos about that. The ability to push the button, the lights come on. This is going to be my hunting sight. I'm going to put it on this HHA sight bar, and so I'll just have to unscrew this one, pop this one off, and then I can put this one on there. The beauty of this one is I can adjust these pins back here. It's kind of hard to see, but the middle one's solid. It stays where it's at. The other 2 you can adjust. So the plan is obviously 20, 30, 40, and then you've got one down here at the very bottom. It's kind of hard to see down here at the very bottom. That would be like your extra bonus pin or something. I don't know that I'll use that for much of anything. Another cool feature of this that I've always thought, why do people not do this, is your 20 pin or your top pin, make it bigger, and then as you get down lower, they get smaller and smaller. The pins get smaller and smaller. Ultraview's done that. I think that's genius. I don't know why more people aren't doing that. So this very bottom pin down here, right above the scope housing, is like, I don't know the exact whatever it is, but it's smaller than a 10,000th it looks like when you try to look at it on an actual camera. And you can see they just gradually get smaller. So when you're shooting at 50, 60 yards, you've got a much smaller pin. You're not just starbursting the whole thing. So really cool feature there. My goal is, and obviously put this on the Ultraview or on the HHA bar, have this pin here at 20, and then I've got 30, 40, and I can turn this, and I really would like my top dial, my top pin, to be able to be what goes down to these other sides. So I'm gonna see if I can do that. That's my hope. Other people I've seen online have done it to where the middle one, because it's the fixed one, This middle pin in here is the one that stays, you know, where you can adjust it. So it's at 30, and then you could move the dial and try to make that middle one shoot at 37.5 if you wanted to, or whatever it is. To me, that's a little bit confusing because 99% of your movable sights, it's going to be your top pin. So I don't want to be in a high stress deer hunting situation and I move the wrong one, or I move it and then I shoot off the top one. So I'd rather it just be the top one. We're going to try to make that happen. The other cool thing about Ultraview's sights is they are ambidextrous, I guess you could say. So I've got one son who is left-handed and one who's right-handed, and I am also right-handed. So this is my old Ultraview, so our plan is to give this to him. So I'll just have to flip this upside down or flip it around and swap these cartridges around, and I should be able to shoot this left-handed. Hence why you have a bubble here and you've got a spot for a bubble here. You could shoot either way, and you've got the ability here to put this through there. So I think the words Ultraview are going to be upside down, but your cartridges will just flip and you'll be able to shoot this from the left side of a bow, left-handed. So that's cool that they do that. You don't have to worry about you know, right and left and all that. When you have a kid that's left-handed, that's a really good feature. As well as in here, you're going to get some accessories. This sight I think was $250, and it's the SE, so it's got these screws don't come out, and it's kind of painted black. I think you could get the original UV3 XL 3-pin for $200 off their website. I don't know much difference other than that. I think maybe this sight ring here is not on it, but the color and these screws will come all the way out on the regular one, not the SE one. Other than that, I don't know that there's much difference. So you get extra batteries. This is a ring if you can't have lights in your state. You got extra level, which that's a huge level, way bigger than the old one. And then you got some instructions and some more instructions for changing battery. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop off this Ultraview 3 off of this HHA bar. You can tell this bar, I had it cut to go in my Matthews bridge lock, and I'm putting this on my Levitate now. So I've got to get, I'm hoping I can just use this same bar and get the mount from HHA to put on here, and then I can run it off my Levitate. But I'm gonna mount that on here, and then let's go shoot it, see if we can get it sighted in. All right, so I think we're actually ready to take the old UV3 off and put the UV3 XL on there. A couple things I've added to it since last time. So this little ring right here is interchangeable, and since I'm putting this on my Levitate, it's kind of got the green accents. I'm gonna pop this white one out and ordered this green one. Kind of a simple little thing, but I do like for my stuff to look good. So there's that. The other thing is on Ultraview sights, I always like the sunshades. They're kind of short, stubby sights, and you can get some light in here. But when you throw on one of these little 3D printed you know, sunshades from eBay, the guy there that does those does a real good job. It gives you a little bit longer, you get a little more of your peep in this dark here, and you can actually see the light of your peep come on a little bit better. So to me, I always like these sunshades on Ultraviews. They're cheap, they look good, they're really good. So you can see I've got one on this one. So let's get this one taken out. Said, let's go, actually I'm going to level it up. We're going to shoot through paper a little bit, and then we'll go start sighting in this Ultraview XL SE. All right, so we got a decent bullet hole. You can see kind of where we started, and then, you know, up and down, left, right a little bit. And then finally, down here, we got a pretty good bullet hole with these 3 fletches. So it's extremely windy outside. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna shoot from inside through the door at the target. Our main goal is we're trying to get our middle pin because it's not movable. We need to get our middle pin set to 30 yards. We need to get it dialed in, and then we'll try to get the 20 and the 40 set and using the movable pins. So it's kind of backwards from how you normally would do it with a 3 or 4 pin sight, but once we get it all set up, it'll be sweet. Left to right's good. We're just a touch high. Back it up 10 more yards and we ought to be pretty close. Alright, so we're going to call 30 sided in. May bump it to the right just a little bit, but you can see these three just, I mean, if I'm aiming dead center, they're all three touching. Well, not touching, the fletchings are probably touching. And they're just a smidge to the right. So we're gonna say 30 is good. Now we're gonna get our 20 with our adjustable pin. So we'll call that good. All right, so now we're getting 20, spot on 20, shooting through the door with our top pin that we can adjust just the pin. So the actual bar itself on this HHA, since our middle pin is set at 30, we're going to lock it in. Our windage, we'll leave it, play with it a little bit. I think we're just a touch right, so I'm going to give her 2 clicks to the right. So now we're going to shoot top pin, and we are going to adjust the individual pin if we are not hitting good. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here, especially with this lighting. Shooting inside, shooting out is tough. But I adjusted the top pin just ever so slightly down. I know that's kind of hard to see. If I could stay right there, it will be. But took a very small wrench, loosened it, moved it down just a hair, and tightened it back up. Let's see if that gets our 20 down. So all three hit low. So what we're going to do, flip this over, and we're going to move it just a shade more. So this top pin right here, moved it just a little bit. You can see the gap between those two is pretty close now. So we'll see, these should be pretty fast arrows. They're coming in just slightly under 400. I am gonna put a wrap on them, so I figure by the time I wrap them, they may be a little closer to 400. I did have to take the sunshade off because I can't get in and adjust that pin very good with that sunshade on. All right, so the first shot, I sure enough just locked low and sent it. So this one was just awful, me. These two, pretty clean breaks. They're just a touch high, smidge high. For right now, I mean, season doesn't open for a few more months. I'm gonna call that good, and I'll fine tune this as I go. They're obviously really close to each other, hitting each other. So they're in the center of this square. They're just on the top part of it. Since I can't micro adjust this sight at this point using my 20 and my 40, I can't micro adjust it. I'm going to just leave it where it is for now. This is one of the complaints about this sight that I see so far is your 30 you can micro adjust because you can micro adjust your sight, but your 20 and your 40 you can't micro adjust. You got to set the little screw and a little wrench in, turn it, and then try to move it. And they've got scales on there, which is nice. But the beauty of setting up like a movable single pin is I can micro adjust that single pin on my HHA or whatever I'm using, and it'll make sure everything moves kind of in sequence. Whereas this one, on the 20 and the 40, I'm having to adjust kind of an older, cheaper way, if that makes sense. And that kind of sucks for what you pay for it. But I'm hoping when I get my speed and some measurements, Precision Cut Archery, I can print a tape so that my 20 pin will be what I dial, and I can make it go to 57 or 58 or whatever. And then I've got 20, 30, 40 stagnant pins for deer hunting, in a scenario where it's pretty quick and pretty tight. right, so first thoughts on this Ultraview UV3 SC XL, bunch of different things there you got to remember. It's a pretty sweet sight. The look's awesome. I love the ability of swapping cartridges. I love that the sight is built into it. You don't have like an add-on little twisty sight on top. They're cheap, but inevitably they always get left on, and you just kind of forget that they're there, and when you do need them, they don't have any battery left because you left them on. So this, having the timer in there, it's in here, it's not sticking up, catching on things. That's one of my favorite things about them, and I know that's kind of a minor deal, but it is a great feature. I love that you can customize this viewing ring. You can pop it out if you want. I don't know if I'll keep it or not. I think with it out, it is kind of you can see more. So kind of seems like if you're going to run the XL, you might want to just do it where you can see more stuff through it versus with the scope, what do they call it, a scope ring or view ring or something in there. It does kind of take up a little bit more of what you can see. All right, so I've entered the information. I got my precision cut archery tapes. I'm going to use the middle tape as always. So right now this HHA is locked in at really what 30 would be, but I'm going to use the top pin and try to get my 20 mark where that top pin is, and hopefully when I stretch it out, that top pin can be my movable pin. So I'm going to take my tweezers. We're going to peel this old tape off. Indicator. That looks pretty good. This hitting a touch low, but I think that's probably me. Going back to 30, and we'll use the dial, see if it's still somewhat close. Alright, so those two in the yellow, using the top pin, moving the whole side up and down at 30. Let's go back to like 50 and give her a real test. And we'll see if we can get some 60-yard shot. So that's in the yellow at 51 using the top pin. So that's pretty sweet. Alright, so Ultraview UV3 XL SE edition, slider edition. I'm not using the actual UV slider. I already had this HHA sitting here with the regular UV3 on it, so I like it. So I'm like, I'm not going to buy the $600 sight when I can just buy the $200 or $250 scope itself and put it on this and go with it. And I really like it. The setup seems great. Seems like it's going to be the best of both worlds, being able to have a 20, 30, 40 pin for up close deer hunting, quick shots. Also, I'm taking this bow to TAC, Colorado this summer, so I'm going to be able to hopefully stretch it out and be, a little more precise at like 85-yard shots and things like that. With that being said, it's got the bigger housing, so I know I'm going to have some clearance issues, but I do have, that bottom cheater pin or something like that. I could use the bottom of my 3 pins and try to figure out where that's hitting at. It wasn't hard to get this sight tape set up to that 20-yard pin, that top pin. I saw some other videos where some guys were using the middle pin because it's the one that is constant. It's with the housing itself. I just think that I'd forget in the heat of the moment. I'd forget that my middle pin was my pin that floats, my movable pin. So I wanted my top pin to be that movable pin because that's just the way it's been for forever. So again, some negatives. I really wish the top and the bottom pin were micro adjust, or click adjust somehow, or some other way of moving it without having to totally loosen a screw and then like try to guess where it goes. You're going to run into some issues doing that. The only other negative thing is I think there's the setup of it is pretty complex when you're talking about having 3 pins that are set and dialed in, and then also being able to move it. So for example, these arrows I was using today, these are probably 2 years old. They're just a 3-fletch 2.75 tack driver. I didn't hunt with them last year. I hunted with them 2 years ago. So when I go to hunt them this year, I have to put a white wrap around here and then fletch all 3 in white veins. That'll probably be what I hunt with. So that's going to change my grains per inch a little bit. And if I go with this Easton Axis long range again, I might switch it up to some other arrows. I'm going to play around with that some. But in doing that, I'm going to add some grains to my arrow. So that means my 30 might have to be adjusted. My 20 will have to be resighted in. My 40 will have to be resighted in. And I'll have to print a new sight tape. So it's like the pain of sighting in with your regular, cheaper, stagnant pin combined with the pain of resighting in with the movable sight tape. So that's the only negative that I see, is if you do make any tweaks or adjustments, you're going to have to go through this whole process again. Not a huge deal, but if you're a tinkerer, kind of like I am, and you like to try different things and swap things back and forth, that's going to be something you're going to have to just expect and plan. So I'm going to try to have my setup done going into probably July. So for tack in Oklahoma, like I said, I'm using this one because it is getting close to deer season here in Arkansas. My lift will be shooting 3D, so it'll be set up for the state 3D shoot. So I don't want to have to try to switch back and forth with these, especially with the amount of setup it takes on this. So I'm going to have to go to Colorado Tack with a hunting arrow, not a tack specific arrow. Other than that, it's an awesome sight. You can see the pin's great. It's very clear. It's not too cluttered. I don't think it's too cluttered at all. Really like the sight. Beautiful sight. Looks good. I like that it's black and not that kind of silverish color that they've used in the past. So I would recommend it. So anyway, if you haven't already, check out bowcrew.com. This banner right there, and a bunch of cool shirts come from there. Bowcrew.com. Use R Woods 20 at checkout. Save yourself 20%. Helps the channel out a little bit. Gets you some cool swag for those summer tack events that are coming up. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. A lot of archery content coming up as I spend my summertime tweaking and testing and trying new things. If you're into that kind of stuff, you're in the right place. So like, subscribe, stick around. Appreciate you.